Hey guys, this is Miss Shelby. I'm going to be doing a hopefully quick video on area and perimeter. So today is Wednesday, and you will be doing Mission 3, Lessons 1, 2, and 3 the rest of the week. So on Wednesday, you'll be doing Lesson 1 on Mission 3. Thursday, you'll be doing Lesson 2 on Mission 3. And Friday, you'll be doing Lesson 3 on Mission 3. And all three of these lessons have to do with area and perimeter. Now, in some of my Google Meets already, I've asked if anybody's remembered area and perimeter, and it's about half and half. Some people say they remember it, some people say they don't. This will be a good refresher, and it's also going to be kind of going into multiplication. So, the first thing I want to talk about is perimeter. Perimeter is the boundary of a shape. So if you think about the perimeter of a shape, and what I always do with my kids is I'll always have them hold their hand out and say perimeter. It's the outside of a shape, or if you think about it, it's like building a fence. Okay. Your fence is the perimeter of maybe your backyard, or maybe think about the perimeter of the school. It's going to be the outside of the school. So if I were to draw a rectangle, and on Zern, you will see them have a rectangle, and they'll have squares in here, but this is the perimeter. And the guy, even on the math chat on lesson 1, he's like, okay, outline the shape of this rectangle, and it's actually going to stand the other way. But this is the perimeter. So we have our length and we have our width. Okay, length and width. I usually do length if it's the longest side. That's what I do my length as, and then the width is always my shortest side. Now you'll see on Zern where it has a rectangle look like this. And again, if you kind of go by what I just said, the length would be your longer side. So length would be here, width would be here. But perimeter is going to be the same thing. Perimeter is going to be our outside of the shape. It's the boundary of the shape. Say I needed to figure out how to, how much fencing I need to put up for Bo. Well, I'm going to have to figure out all of this. So something with area and perimeter. And when I was younger, I loved area and perimeter because you had formulas. Formulas are just kind of a guide to help you solve a problem. So it's going to ask you on Zern, how can we solve it? It's actually going to give you boxes, and then it's going to say, well, what's an easier way to solve for perimeter? Well, the formula for perimeter, there's actually 3 of them, but the one that I use and the easiest one is adding all 4 sides up. So for example, if this is the length and this is the length, this is the width, then the other side's going to be the width. So the formula for perimeter is actually adding all 4 sides up. And every year I have kids who they might add 3 sides up. And I tell them every year, I'm like, well, if Bo were to be in this fence and you only added 3 sides up, he's going to be able to get out of this fence. It has to be all 4 sides. So the formula for perimeter is length plus width plus length plus width. Now, like I said, there are 2 more formulas, and Zern is actually going to talk about those other 2 formulas, but this is the number 1 formula that I use to find perimeter. They are going to give you other ones, and you're going to practice the other ones. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what those other ones are. Here's the first one. This is kind of the number 1 formula that I use, and these are all going to equal P, which stands for perimeter. Now, there's another one, and it's actually 2L plus 2W. Now, anytime you have something that looks like this is going to stand for multiplication. So the reason it's 2L is because there are 2 lengths. So I'm actually going to put some numbers in here. Say I have, let's do 6 and our width is 4. Okay. So all I have to do with formulas are plug in the numbers. So if I were to plug in the numbers for this, I would put 6 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4. If I were to plug in the numbers for this formula, I would actually do this. I would do 2 times our length, which is 6. So I'll do parentheses. This is what this is called. Plus 2 times our width, which is 4. Okay, and this is kind of getting into some algebra. This is getting into some fifth grade stuff. And if you have a middle school sibling, they might be like, oh, I've done this stuff before. But this is how this formula would look now. And all you do is solve what's in the parentheses first. So 2 times 6 is 12. And we always bring it down. It's going to kind of look like a upside down A, or it's going to look like an ice cream cone. That's what we talked about last year. And then 2 times 4 is 8. And then you are going to add 12 plus 8, which is 20. So that would equal our perimeter. Okay, and that's the same thing up here. If I were to plug these in, I would do 6 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4 equals P. Well, I know this 6 plus 4 is 10, and this 6 plus 4 is 10, and I know 10 plus 10 is 20. And if you notice, we're still getting the same answers. Some of you all might like this way. It might be a little bit quicker than adding 4 numbers. And then some of you all might like this way. I like this way. It's plain, it's simple, it's easy. This is the number 1 perimeter formula. And remember, perimeter is the outside of a shape. It's like if you were building a fence. Now, the third formula, excuse me, would be 2 times, and then we're doing parentheses, length plus width. Okay, that would be our third formula. And this one's probably easier than both of them. But again, I kind of go back to just adding all 4 sides. I'm kind of a simple gal. I like to add all 4 sides. But this one is really great too. So we're just going to plug in these numbers. So 2 times our length was 6, and then our width was 4. Okay, and again, you're just going to keep going down. So the first thing you need to do is add in our parentheses. And so it would be 2 times 10. And then 2 times 10 is 20. Okay. So these are the 4 formulas that you can use for perimeter. Zern's going to show you all 3 formulas. Again, you don't have to use all 3 of them. They are going to take you through them, but you don't have to use all 3 of them. So my advice would be use this one. If you want to challenge yourself, these next 2 they're not challenging if you know how to do them, but the thing that you need to know are your multiplication facts. That's something that you do need to know. So my hint for perimeter is we add all 4 sides. That's with perimeter. We add all 4 sides. Perimeter. It's like building, when you do perimeter, think of Bo. Say, okay, I don't want to let Bo out. I don't want to let Bo out of that fence. The next thing that Zern is going to talk about is area. And area is actually the space in between. So like perimeter is on the outside. Well, area is the inside. So think about, laying tile on a floor. We would find the area to figure out how many tiles we would need. But then the fence, that would be perimeter. So the area is the number of squares required to cover the inside of a shape. It's the space a shape takes up. So area is a different formula. Here's the formula for perimeter. area has a different formula. So our area formula is actually just length times width. And might have you guys might have remembered that from last year. Length times width equals A, and A stands for area, or it's A equals length times width. Okay, it's either or. But your area is just multiplication. So this is going to kind of be our segue into multiplication. That's why it's very important to be studying your facts and so on and so forth. So we're going to let's go ahead and take that length and width. And let's say that our length was 6 and our width was 4 again. So we're just going to plug these numbers in. We know that our formula is length times width. So we're going to do A equals length times width, and we just keep bringing it down. So our length was 6, our width was 4. And this is where you need to know your multiplication facts. And so my area would be 6 times 4, I know, is 24. Now, the thing about area is anytime, and this is with perimeter too, you're probably going to have something that might say centimeters, or it could say inches, or it could say it could even say units. But say it says centimeters. With area, every time you multiply, since you're trying to figure out the inside, it's going to be square and then whatever this is. So square centimeters. And I tell my kids every year, hey, don't leave these numbers naked. And you're probably giggling or laughing, but I'm serious. When you go ahead and you take any test, you can't leave this number naked. You can't just say 24. If we were in class, I would say 24 what? So with area, it's always going to be squared. It can be square centimeters, square units, square inches, but it's always going to be squared because what we're doing is we're trying to find the inside. Okay, we're trying to find the inside of the shape. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to draw a rectangle here. I'm going to use some different numbers. Okay, so let's go ahead. Here is my length, which is going to be 10 inches, and my width is going to be 4 inches. All right, and I need to find the perimeter, and I also need to find the area. So first things first, I always love using the simple perimeter formula. So it's going to be length plus width plus length plus width. And some people are going to be like, Miss Shelbi, could it be length plus width plus width? Yes. It doesn't matter as long as when you add them, they're going to be all 4 sides. You just have to add all 4 sides. And if you're like some people, you might want to go ahead and fill it in. If this one's 10, then this one's going to be 10. And if this one is 4, then this one's going to be 4. So perimeter, I'm going to be filling in my formula. So I'm going to do 10 plus 4 plus 10 plus 4. So I know that 10 plus 4 is 14. So 14 plus 14. Now, if you're like me, sometimes I need to do this. Sometimes I got to come over to the side and do this, and that's totally okay. So 4 plus 4 is 8. 1 plus 1 is 2. So our perimeter will be 28, and it's just going to be inches. It's not going to be square inches. That's only with area. So our perimeter is 28 inches. Now I've also asked for area. Now remember, the formula for area is length times width. Okay, so we're going to do A equals 10 times 4 because my length is 10 and my width is 4. So 10 times 4, guys, we got to know our multiplication facts. 10 times 4 is 40. And remember, we can't forget the square. So it's going to be 40 square inches. And SQ stands for square. So there is our area. So guys, you're going to be doing Zern lessons 1 on Wednesday, lesson 2 on Thursday, and lesson 3 on Friday. And it's going to be talking about area and perimeter. If you need help and you're on Zern, pull this video back up and go through everything that I talked about. That's really going to help you with these lessons. As always, if you need help, reach out to me on either Class Dojo or email or even GChat, and I'll be happy to help you guys. I love you.